Hey, what's good, fam? We don't need a mic today, do we? Nah. We got another great guest for you. Pono Pau, the Hawaiian assassin, son. He's going at it again. He's got a tough competitor in Johnny Magna. Um, Pono's looking for a win here. I know Johnny is too. We spoke with both of them. But for today, we're going to get Pono's take on leading up to the fight, his preparation, and about how he feels about the sport in general, goals that he has in the coaching world, in the striking world, how he wants to marry those two together to give himself an advantage he feels in this whole power slap game. Anyway, fam, great conversation. Grab a beverage, sit back, relax. We got the man himself, Pono Pau. And always remember, 3, 2, 1. That's a knockout.
3, 2, 1, yeah, that's a knockout. They call me kamikaze, put you in heaven's lobby. All gas, no brakes, you can never stop me. Nah, no, you can never stop me. Yeah, cause I'm the power slap king.
Slapson, baby!
Never made weight t-shirt on. What's up, fam? You got that?
I know. I got that shirt right here too. Same one.
Dude, that's awesome. They're
Yup.
good guys, man. Sped's a good guy.
Yeah,
Ugh.
Sped, he's funny.
Well, dude. Hey, fam. You know who this guy is, and if you don't, you're about to realize it. Pono, how we doing, brother? You ready?
I'm doing good, bro. I'm ready to go.
All right, I love it. All right, everybody. Welcome to Slap Son. We got the man in the building. Did a wrestler duck this guy? We're gonna find out. Pono's back, son. Everybody give it up for the Hawaiian assassin, Pono Pau.
Let's go.
Let's do this. We were just talking, fam. So the chest is good. The heart is good.
Yeah. So I had to do all the medicals this week. Monday I had to do EKG physical. Today I had to do the chest X-rays. Tomorrow I have to do my eye exam. So they're just trying to get me done with everything, so that way I don't have to worry about anything during fight week.
Dude, that's great. You can just focus on the task, do media, yeah, like whatever. Love it, dude. Well, hey, if you don't look, there's a lot of rumors in this world, and I was talking to a lot of the fighters, and I told John Davis straight up, I was like, look, dude, there's always birds chirping, but you can't have a crystal ball in this sport. Like, you just can't. And I would say I know 9 out of 10 times what's going to happen before it gets announced, but I never, Pono, I never say that shit because you can't have a crystal ball in the sport. So
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about how did this match come to be? Because there was rumors that you were going to go up against somebody else that was coming from the wrestling world. So just let us know, man. Talk us through how this match came to be.
Well, now that we're here already and we got Johnny Magna on the line, right? It's I was originally supposed to go against Jake Hager.
Okay, so that was real.
So that was the conversation when I went out to Power Slap 18, talked to Sin, talked to Justin, and they just kind of throw some feelers out there of like, oh, okay, well we got the newest, biggest person that we're bringing into the sport. They never mentioned my name directly, and and that's just how Sin and Justin work. But it's like, yeah, we got this guy, and we know some other guy that is pretty much ready to go too. And he's like, and this probably would be a good match, but yeah, unfortunately that one didn't go through. Jake is, even as being part of the MMA world, part of the wrestling world, I mean the heavyweight champion of WWE. That I mean, he doesn't have any experience in the slap game yet. So that's basically what it dropped down to, is that, hey, you know what, you've got a lot of experience in the sport, and Jake is going to be his first time up there on stage, so we'd like to not do that, right? Just have somebody that's more experienced go against somebody that's brand new. So we that idea dropped, and then there was another brand new, also a wrestler, and I don't know if I say his name and that's the person, because that's the person I was thinking. He's on this match now. I mean, on this card now. But I think they were going to try to put me up against Lance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they definitely have you in
messaged me
mind
saying,
for these guys coming in.
right. But then he's also brand new. So if you can't put me up against Jake Hager, which is brand new, you can't put me up against Lance. That's no way, right? Because everybody's just kind of green to the sport. So it just kind of fell from there. And I said, okay, you know what? I'll sit in the background, Justin. It's like you guys just give me a call whenever you guys feel like there's something going on. And as we progressed, I've started hearing more news from other people. Like obviously the people from international can't come in. Canada having a hard
Yeah,
hard
that's
time
real.
picking up fights. So then, we hear, remnants of Lewis versus Austin Turpin, and then Lewis couldn't make it. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it, and then it's now Austin doesn't have an opponent, and I'm on my phone already, like, hey Justin, I
Yeah.
just heard that this happened. Let's go. It's like, hey, okay, now I heard something else happen. He's in the heavyweight division. Let's go. And they're like, well, we got to hold off, and these guys are already gonna have their matches kind of lined up. So, we'll just let that go for now. And it's like, but trust me, you're the first up to bat if anything happens. And then lo and behold, all right, like 5 days ago, 6 days ago, I'm sitting at home and like get the text message. Oh, how do you think about what do you think about this? From going from not competing at Power Slap 19 to now competing at Power Slap 19. And I'm like, okay. And it's like, well, I like it. I like it. And then no response back. And then I start getting other messages. Now I get Johnny Magna texting me, well, well, well. And it's like this
Oh shit.
here's the and I'm thinking, I'm like, well, 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 what? Because originally, Johnny Magna was supposed to go up against Aaron Turner. And
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
I talked to Johnny after having my Slap News interview with me and Brian about trying to get together a camp, right? And really start to do something different with outside of like what we're doing right now with the coaching aspect. Like, I mean, this last Power Slap 18, the people that me and Brian was around the whole entire time, especially was helping Crazy kind of make the weight cut, kind of get his head right, and then as we're there, we meet up with Zeke, we meet up with Dakota, we meet up with all the other strikers, and it's like me already. I sprinkle a little bit of, hey man, I think this would work if you did this. Let's see your swing, let's see this stuff going. So the coaching side kicked in, and now
Yes, sir. That
since
that
we're
that,
there,
that Pono seasoning. You know what I mean?
if we're there for Koa, and we're helping Koa, Koa's already dialed in. We're getting him down to weight. Okay, now we can kind of work with all the rest of the other athletes that are there, and Jiden. Jiden was on the card against Joe Perez, against Dorian Perez's brother. So me and Koa go and like, hey man, let's go and have a family dinner. Oh yeah, okay. So we go back to mom's
Yes.
house, and Jiden comes with us, and it's just like, yeah, man, you know what? Because he's got the Islander background. Like, hey man, you know what? Come on, let's go. Let's go and go hang out at the house and go eat food and go chill. And Dane has his setup, his bob setup there. So we start going into the thing, and I'm like, okay, we ate, we chilled, we prayed, we did all our things. It's like, let's go outside and let's go practice a little bit. Let's see what your hit looks like. Show me what you were gonna do. Boom, it shows me. Okay, well, I think if you did this, this, and this a little bit different, we can generate a little bit more power. Okay, bam, start working on them. So, having the opportunity to be able to work with other athletes in that time being, even though we're already working with Koa, being
Yeah.
able to just kind of, just like you said, sprinkle the magic dust on them, see how they work and how they operate, and man, they did amazing out there on stage. Eden was the very first match that came up, and you know, I mean, great performance. He took one on the
Oh
chin,
yeah.
but I mean, for him to answer back and be able to hit Hunter with that type of hit and put him out like that, I mean, I like it. So that night, me and Brian are sitting front row, and we're like, okay, that's one. Okay, there's another person. That's two. That's three. But by the time we know it, we're like seven out of seven. All the people that we talked to and that we were like kind of just
Yo.
influencing, bro, they're just killing everybody. And I'm like, all right, this is it. And I told Brian when we got back home, I said, look, bro, we need to start working on opening up a camp, putting together the
Mm.
techniques, putting together all the knowledge, whatever knowledge I have in here, whatever knowledge you have in there about weight cutting, about just being disciplined. And he coaches kids wrestling. He does all the little wrestling events, and he does a bunch of stuff. He helps people with mental issues and everything else. So it was just a prime opportunity. Hey, look, we can work together and make like a camp and have that happening. Well, go back to the story is Johnny Magna was one of the first ones to reach out, said, "Hey, you know what? I see you got a limited 10,
Oh,
10
that's
spots.
funny.
You got a limited 10 spots on there. Let's I want to jump in. I want to work with you guys." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, sounds good, Johnny." And obviously, hey, who's your opponent? Aaron Turner. Okay, we know already, tall opponent. We've already been, studying, and I mean, I'm in the heavyweight division. If you're in the heavyweight division and you don't think that I've studied you already, like, you gotta be crazy, you know what I mean? I've watched your movement, I
You're
watch
not
your
thinking right.
biomechanics. Not thinking right, bro. I'm a mad scientist in here. So I know already, okay, well, this is what we need to work on so that way you can get better to be able to go against Aaron Turner, especially if Aaron Turner is your opponent like that, and he's a tall guy. And that becomes a conversation. I asked him about his bracing. He sends me his bracing technique, and I'm like, okay, cool. That sounds it's pretty spot on. And from there, it was okay. Well, we already know Johnny Manning's got an opponent. He's got Aaron Turner. But then he hits me with the well, and I'm questioning myself. And then Justin comes back and is like, "Hey, the offer's for Johnny Magna." And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, "Holy shit!" He's like, "We supposed to be helping him against Aaron Turner." You know what I mean? Or and just kind of showing him a little bit of the technique or whatever it may be. And now we here.
Wow.
Now we're
So
here. Me versus Johnny Magna.
so do you have the most unfair advantage because you've been helping this guy get ready?
So it was this that conversation only happened that one time. He asked about, having a spot taken up, like reserve a spot, but nothing like this is the best thing about it is that there was no information exchanged yet. I didn't tell him about
Okay,
I didn't I
okay.
didn't tell him about offensive, techniques or defensive techniques yet. I just asked him, "Well, what's your brace look like?" We because
Got it, okay.
I'm not worried about his swing because I know that he's in good hands. He trains with
Yeah.
John
With
and with
Dotson's,
Chelsea.
yeah.
Yeah. And they're good people. So I know already that they if they don't have like specific training techniques or things for slap, John Dotson is literally like the MMA god. You know what I mean? Like the guy knows
Yeah.
movement because he trains like this every day. They're disciplined. They're disciplined. You know what I mean? They're consistent. They have a gym that they go to all the time. They got people that they train and they help. So that's a one up for Johnny Magna to be in that gym, to have people that are disciplined like that and that are driving him to be able to get better. You know what I mean? And Johnny, to talk good about Johnny is Johnny's very coachable. Like he's the guy that sits there and he
Yeah,
watches and he
that's
listens
big.
and he starts picking up. And he's not the guy that be like, well, my technique was better from this or that. He's very open minded. He can take things in like that. So it's just okay. They got a good camp going on, especially with John and Chelsea, kind of teaching about the slap and doing everything else. They got a good camp running. So, you know, can't worry about Johnny's swing, but we got to worry about Johnny's defense. See how he's defending. Find what out like what's going on with his bracing, and see if that's
Yep,
if that's a thing. Just just by watching from like Ryan Kenny, he had that match with Ryan Kenny that
yep.
Ryan does have a powerful hit. Johnny stood out there and he took every single hit. So that
It's
that
crazy
just
because you just, I love that we got the backstory now because, um he gets a hold of you because he knows that you have coached so many people in a successful way, right? And to have that switch, but what's cool is there wasn't a moment where you got to exchange and kind of, showcase different secret sauces, things like that. So it's still going to be all new to both of you guys, which is awesome, man.
yeah, for sure. For sure. And like I said, I've
Dude,
I've
that's
I've
crazy.
I've I've worked my way through the roster. Like if you're on the top 10, trust and believe, and you've already had a match, I've watched it. I've watched all the matches over and over and over and over again. I like to study things. You know what I mean? You got to have at least one leg up on all the competitors. So I try to look and watch and see exactly where the breaking points are and where he can improve in, and where his strengths are and also where the weaknesses are, and then try to now at this point, because he's an opponent, try to exploit his weaknesses. I already seen it. just by studying him.
Yeah, and
I
do you
already
think
seen it.
yeah, so you kind of read my mind. So because my next question was, do you think that really is your actual advantage? Is that you're just you've been a veteran of the sport longer. So his maybe potentially his actual weakness is just he hasn't had that much time up at the podium.
It's actually really it's here. And it's not that I have an advantage over him in that sense. It's all here. It's how obsessed are you with this sport? If you're obsessed and you love it, and it's like it's not for the dollar sign at the end of the day, and you are actually doing it to progress and just to be the best out there, everybody's gonna make money regardless, right? But you're trying to be
Sure.
the best athlete out there, yeah, then it's all in here. This is the trap that keeps you from, progressing and being better, or kind of staying in that zone where a lot of people fall into play, and they think one technique works one certain way, and that's the only way that it's going to work, and there's nothing else that you can change to that or implement to that it can make you better. And if you have somebody like that, like me, when people talk to me, I'm coachable. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, "Hey, you know what?
Yeah.
This my technique is the best technique out there, and I like smelling my own shit." You know what I mean? Like that's it's not that way. It's like I've learned from having a match against Dorian Perez that my lean on one doesn't work against that kind of target. I have to change it up.
Interesting. Yeah.
And if
And
you
you're
notice,
not that guy to have that massive ego that's like, no, I'm gonna stick with this, I'm gonna stick with this when it's not working. That's huge, man.
uh-huh. And that style is gonna work for people that and like their engineering is proper. They have proper biomechanics to be able to make that happen because the lean has to do with weight transfer. So
Sure.
if your body doesn't match that, then you need to be more straight up, more square with the target. You don't have to have a full on complete lean all the way over the target where you start where you end. And, once we started that with me and my brother and, creating that lean, it picked up in season 3. Like, you
Yeah,
got
a lot of guys from season 3 were doing that lean. A
a lot of
lot.
people and not so much of like they did it in their matches when they were going up there, but over time since then, it's progressed where they see that weight transfer really matters in the sport. Because if you can't lift your feet and your feet have to stay flat. Well, then you need to make whatever's happening from your knees and your hips and your upper body to be able to transfer the weight over. If you can't do this, you can't do
Sure.
this. So there's just that part where you can, you know, with the lean, people start to find out that their mechanics work good with that type of hit. And then you see it everywhere.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah,
seen
and
it.
it
Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, and what's crazy is being the you and your brother to sort of, you know, initiate that on the spot during that season. It's interesting how people still are sticking with it, but you guys are still evolving and you just admitted as to, okay, this may not work, so we do this other thing. And I think that's huge because if you're not evolving, even in power slap, you're just devolving. You know what I mean? And you have obviously continued to evolve. You're not just doing the lean on one because that's pride and ego and you came up with it and on and on. You're evolving it all the time. It's huge, man.
That's it. Well, because then you think about it that for every time that you go up there on stage, the opponent, as much as the brace is so simple or whatever it may be, the opponent's going to be different. You got a taller opponent, you got a shorter opponent, you got a guy
Mm,
that tucks his chin in like this, you got somebody that locks in on his traps, the guy that's not engaged on the hips. Like everybody's different. So you can master one technique, but you should practice all techniques. You should practice all different types of drives. You should practice all different types of swings, like a Wolverine, Damien DeBell's swing, Dwayne Crespo's swing, Kini Manu's swing. You have to practice all these swings to be able to understand that that's how the mechanic works when you are up there and it can change. Johnny starts bracing up, he starts doing something completely different. Okay, well, now I know that I got to attack a certain way.
yeah, absolutely,
You take,
man.
I said it on Slap News is that like, they give you all the keys, right? You got this whole chain of keys, just keys everywhere. Well, not every door is going to be the same. So you have to go through the key,
Mm.
find it, and that's the key that opens that door. And that's reality. That's how it's supposed to be. You got to have
No,
all.
that's a
You
good
got
analogy.
one master key, but you got all the rest of the keys that are good for all the rest of the doors too.
Yeah, no, I love that analogy, man, because uh, the more you get into this shit, the more you realize it's not just bitch slapping somebody, like it has to be taught, it has to be learned, and it has to be evolved to you and to the opponent you're going up against. When we have this match coming up with Darius and Damien, you've been in the game, man, and you've proven yourself, wins, losses, you're still here. You weren't one of these one and done guys that we've seen a bunch of. So when you look at Johnny, and we're not looking past him, but when you look at Johnny, if that task is accomplished, we might see the belt change hands. Look, Damien has kind of like prove it, you know what I mean? Like he's been there a long time and no one's knocked him off the mountain yet. But my question is it hard for you not to look past Johnny and think, oh, I want Darius, I want Damien?
So the eye is always on the prize. That's how I think about it. It's always on
Okay.
the prize, and
Okay.
the top is Damien DeBell holding that title and being able to hold the championship as well. I mean, that should be that way for every single person, right? Is that you shouldn't be settling at the bottom at number 9 and number 10 and kind of taking all your easy matches or whatever it may be and just kind of getting by in the sport. You should be progressing and getting better and figuring out how do I get to the top tier? How do I get to being able to fight number 1, the champion, or taking the belt away from somebody? And yeah, at this point, even with that being said, I like the fact that I get to be able to work with so many people and
Mm.
understand that reality is that I don't even need a title.
What do you mean by that?
Don't need a title. A belt is just material. Something you wear around your waist, something that you can show everybody, something you can do all the stuff with. It's just a title, right? At the end of the day, I'd rather be, and like McKinney has said on stage, I'd rather be the people's champion. You don't have to give me a
Yeah.
title. You don't have to put me against Damien DeBell like that and try to, because and then you see it already from like people that get pushed up there too fast. Wes Mena goes against Damien DeBell. He got pushed up there way too fast. He needed more experience. He needed more people under his belt to be able to battle against, to be able to get to that level. When you take on a match and a fight like that against somebody that's very, very well experienced, he's an expert at his craft, you get shown up, right? You get second round knockouts, second round KO, you get put down. And it's like you get pushed up there too hot, too fast, and everything else after that kind of falls behind you. So I like that as much as there is something, a pinnacle to look at. I like the progression. I like to be able to go at,
Ah.
at this moment. I would like to be able to face every single heavyweight in the division because then I
Yeah.
get to understand what am I going against. Who is that
Mm.
person? How is his mechanics? How is his bracing? It's like, when you meet somebody and then you start looking at their technique, it's like you're trying to learn that. You're trying to learn a new program. Like, and I would rather do that. I would rather progress, and you can start me at 10 and I work 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, doesn't matter. You don't have to jump me all the way
All
up
the
to the
way up.
belt. I will work my way up regardless. But I mean, end of the day, the title is what makes the ultimate decisions for, man, are you highlighted in the sport? Is your name spoken of? Are you on commercials for Power Slap? Are they working with you? Are they operating with
Sure,
you?
sure.
Are sponsorships really going to come through and be clear when you have a title? Yeah. And somebody that has the title, you have the ability to be able to work with bigger sponsors and to really, outside of you and your personality, right? Whether you're that outgoing person to be able to do those kind of
Yeah,
things,
marketable. Yeah.
marketable, right? That you have an opportunity. Doesn't matter if you
No, I
if you if you have the belt, you have an opportunity to be able to do all that stuff.
yeah. And what's interesting though is um Brandon Rhodes said had a similar answer. He wasn't, obviously he's about that title. He wants that shot, but at the same time, he's talking about how, oh, I might even move weight classes because at the end of the day, what I interpreted his answers to be was kind of like what you were saying, which is it's more about putting on fights the fans want to see and staying
Mhm.
active and bringing that energy. Because if you do attain that belt and you're not bringing fights fans want to see and you're not bringing that energy, then that's, for lack of a better description, that's no fun. Like what was the point of getting it if you're not gonna put on a show for the fans? So no, man, I respect that. And I asked the question because as long as I've known you, I know that has been a goal in the past, but knowing that you found this angle with the coaching and with the
Mhm.
mentoring, and it sounds like Brian's coming in the fold a little bit as well. You might have
Mhm.
found and led yourself onto something that actually long term, bro, might have even more opportunity.
Yep. And that is the dream. It's that this is such a new sport that you're able to, get in here and make a mark. That's a big difference. You see all the athletes that have been in the sport already now at this point, right? And how many of them in the sport have made a mark, like a real mark on this sport?
That's a good question. That's a big
Outs
question.
outside of them just performing well. You know what I mean? Like Damien DeBell has made a mark by his performance. He has held the titles. He is 6 time, 5 time, 6 time champion. Like he made a mark. But
Yeah.
outside of that, what else could he be doing? Well, he could be leading the next generation of people and coaching other people to become just like him or just become better. Because I mean, even if he is still young and in the sport, that's the level up, right? That's God's work right there.
Right.
Is being able to help others get better and progress and see how they are. And you don't have to help everybody in the heavyweight division because then they'll have a sauce against you. But you should be helping other people progress in the sport and get better no matter what, regardless, outside of just you getting better. And
Yeah.
then to
It
go back to what
it, it comes full circle.
full circle. And then to go back to what you said earlier about Brandon Rhodes is that like he's the little difference, and I get what Brandon is saying, but the little difference is that yes, he wants to put on good matches, but it's good matches for the fans to be able to see, for the fans to be able to want, for all these
Mm.
other things happening. Here's the difference. The difference is that I don't want good matches for the fans to be able to watch. I want good matches to be able to learn. I wanna
Oh,
learn I wanna learn
interesting.
I wanna learn from these people. I wanna go against a Jordan Oasis because he's younger and he's faster and he's got a little bit more intelligence. I wanna go against a Johnny Magna because he's like he's got bullet speed, because if I can figure out how to master that and a defensive technique that can help stop that, then I'm just going to progress and get better anyway. So I want learning. I want learning more than I want for the fans to be able to be like, "Damn, that was a good match." Like I want it for myself. Is to learn
Yeah.
the opponent, is to learn what's going on, is to see how like dude, it goes down to the smallest things. You know, issues with like they got back problems, they got shoulder issues, they got
Sure.
wrist
Sure.
they got wrist problems.
Yeah.
Their stomach don't work properly. Like, I mean, down to the smallest nitty-gritty thing, that right there gives me a 1% better chance of winning that match, knowing that, just like if you was watching football. You watch football and you know that the guy has a sprained ankle or an injury, previous injury, he's not gonna perform that well. He's not gonna be making
Yeah.
those
No,
moves like
that's
how he's
real.
gonna be making, so you can make your bets and how you feel based on information. My job is to take in data, supercomputer, take in data, compute, and spit that sucker back out.
Man, what's funny is uh the more you talk, man, and the more we like have spent, time together and stuff, I feel like did you think, I mean this is just my opinion, but did you ever think going into the sport that maybe your ultimate goal was gonna be this coaching thing, this mentor thing? Because to say what you just said about I want to take matches more so to learn, man, that just speaks into like insider info to help somebody else out. At least that's how I'm taking it.
Yeah. Of course. Now I have a Rolodex of all these things that are happening, right, between these opponents. Especially if my matches are going like that, I have a Rolodex that okay, now, hey, who are you going against? Oh, I'm going against this person. Oh, bink. I pull it out. Check it out. This is what it looks like.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Pull
You know
out
what
the
I mean?
card. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This is what
Yeah,
it
yeah,
looks
yeah,
like.
dude. Yeah, I
Exactly
got
what it
you.
looks like for
Yeah.
bracing, for swinging. This is what it looks like. And this is a general sense of what it's going to look like. Cuz that opponent could have progressed since then. So that's why you have to always stay active in the sport. And you always have to be studying the players. You should be studying the players all the time because if they change, Johnny Magna stops coaching, stops training with John Dodson, goes over to another, and Chelsea goes over to another camp and starts training at that camp. Well, I fucking best believe that I have to learn what that camp is doing.
Yeah.
I
That
have
that's
to.
real.
I
That's
have
real.
to learn that. I have to learn that because now that's a switch up. That's a change, and I need to have that key to be able to master that defense or master that
Yeah.
offense, however it may look or whatever it may be. So it just the leveling up is so different now. And I don't know how many I can't say off the top of my head, like I know a lot of people think like this, but I don't know how many people in the sport really implement this into their strategy, especially if they are like it's the secret sauce. Well, they're not putting it on Instagram and social media and doing all the other things to be like, hey, I understand and I know all these things. So what do they know that I don't know? You know what I mean? I need that information.
Yeah. No, for sure. I love the approach because, you know, we don't know what actual road leads to where we're going, whether that's a title or whatever. But the fact you're gathering all these little idiosyncrasies and people's mentalities and people's approach can only help you along that road, you know.
That's
Um,
it.
and dude, speaking of Chelsea, I actually got her in like 5 minutes. So, Pono, before we take off, I want to hear just what do you think about this match coming up? It's fucking WrestleMania week. You got a wrestler that's going up against you, and is the confidence there? Is the swagger going to be there to where you can take care of business and just keep going on down this power slap road, man?
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Is that is that and this is to Johnny, right? That there's been mutual respect from the beginning, from the get go. From when I met him at Power Slap, 12, and he was at the after event, and and he wanted to come up and talk, and he's brand new into the sport, and he just wanted to have that conversation. Dude, I love the guy for that. You know what I mean? It's like that you're somebody. Once I look at you and I see that happening, I know that you're appreciating the sport and you're trying to learn and you're trying to pick up on things and you just want to be better at this sport just like how anybody else should be progressing. I get it. I love that stuff. The one thing that gets me all messed up in the head is that I don't understand wrestle world, but this shit's real life. Like I ain't work I'm not working when I go out there. I want to hurt you. Especially if
Yeah,
you act like an idiot. You act like an idiot, oh, I definitely want to kill you. I definitely want to kill
man.
you. And I'm not a wrestler. I don't know what work is. I don't know what, hey, I'm gonna chop you in your chest and you fall down on the ground and I need you to roll around for 2 seconds and then get back up and then I'm gonna suplex you. I don't know that. I come from the street. So all I know is, hey, motherfucker, you're going against me and you think that you're gonna slap me and you're gonna kill me? Not before I get you first. Not before I get you first. I do not play that
I
game. And I don't that's the one thing that rubbed me wrong is that I let all the comments, I let all the bullshit go by. I don't say anything. And I just in my head, I think, you know what, Johnny has some kind of respect for me because he came up to me and he's talking. Maybe he's just selling the match. Maybe he's just,
yeah.
working and that's exactly what it is. And then I read the comments, and the one comment that I respond to is like, hey, this motherfucker's gonna kill you. And Johnny agrees with that. And when I look at that, I look at, oh, okay, maybe he's working. But bro, you could have chose any fucking comment to respond to. the you're gonna kill me to be the one you already know. You already know. You already know I'm gonna kill Pono. Oh yeah, bro. This is not play around. This is not a kid's game, dude. I'm not a fucking wrestler. I'm fucking serious as fuck. And I have the power, I have the accuracy, I have the speed, and I have the fucking knowledge. Do not think for 1 second that I'm not gonna go out there and fucking damage you for thinking that this is fucking work. Because it's not work to me. This is serious. This is where this changes my life. This is where I become the coach. I become the person teaching. I become the next person up. So don't sit here and look at me like, oh yeah, this is just work. This is not work, bro. I got the fucking first swing.
Wow.
When I come out
Yeah.
there, I'm definitely gonna give you something to fucking think about. Definitely gonna give you something to think about. And even if you did survive that first fucking crack, trust me, I got the heart like a fucking lion. I'm gonna stand there. I'm gonna take the next fucking shot, and I'm gonna fucking give you one right back. And it's like this is not where Johnny thinks that it's gonna go. And that's my message to Johnny, is that
Wow.
you want to keep it respectful, bro. You gave me all the love and the respect from the very fucking beginning. Now that you have a match against me, should keep it the same way. Because I would keep my mouth shut and I wouldn't say nothing to you. And then we just go out there and perform. But when you start playing that little fucking kid game shit, and this is a fucking wrestler's world, and we're working here, but I ain't working. This is my fucking life. This is you stop me from eating tomorrow. You hear me? You stop me from eating tomorrow, Johnny. And I fucking eat, bro. I ain't coming out here to fucking play
Wow.
games.
Wow, Pono, that fam, if you're watching this and you're not hyped up now, you're not living. You're not a human being. Wow. And when it comes to this match, the whole card is good, but to feel what I just felt through the camera just hypes it up that much more. Pono, thank you so much for coming on. I can't wait to watch this thing live. And we're going to have Johnny on as well. We'll get his take. But, dude, thank you so much for coming on. Everybody, it's going down. Can you feel it? Because I can. Follow this man, the Hawaiian Assassin, on Instagram. Pono Pau, baby. Thank you for coming on.
Let's go. Power slap 19, baby.
Let's do it. All right, let's let this bitch upload.